Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. So what are we doing today? Are we kicking off season 2?
We're going to start with an overview of season 2.
Right on.
Welcome, everybody. If you're watching this on the replay and you have not gone through the exercises in season 1, I would highly recommend that you do that first. You're certainly welcome to join for everything we have in season 2, which is to grow your agency. But I think what you'll find is that if you try to go through the exercises we have for season 2, and you haven't gotten the fundamentals in place, and you don't know what some of the key terms are, you'll be even more confused. And what I don't want is for especially new agency owners where you're trying to get clients, you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to decide on a niche, you're trying to pay your bills, you're trying to hire people, trying to build a process, trying to service clients so you don't have them leave you. In trying to do all of that, it's easy to get overwhelmed and take shortcuts and make decisions under fear or frustration or hastiness that you're going to regret later. So I'm going to show you the structure of season 2 and why it's different than what we covered in season 1. And if you've got questions along the way, feel free to pop them into the chat as well. Andrew's here to help moderate, and we also have other folks who are awesome as well. Love seeing you guys here. Hey, before we get started, let me know in the chat, how many sessions have you been to for Conquer Local Think Tank? Mitch has been to all of them. All right. And is anyone new here? Maybe this is your first time. Day 1, says Joshua. Okay. You guys are awesome. And then let me know, can you see my screen okay? Guys, let me know if any of this isn't showing up clearly. Okay, good.
I can see it there.
So we've broken this into 3 seasons of 18 to 24 episodes, kind of like Netflix. You know, your favorite show, if you like it, give it a good rating so there's another season, right? And with these, actually, let me go back here. We've got these 3 phases, so you can start, grow, and scale your agency. Now, starting an agency is about getting the fundamentals in place and choosing the lighthouse that you want. Building your why, how, and what content around that lighthouse, meaning videos. It's joining an accountability group and or having a mentor so that you can get that head start. So if you don't have a lighthouse, or if you don't have examples of that lighthouse, then you want to work with someone who's done that before. And John Cordray can tell you that he chose dentists as a group as his lighthouse, but he didn't have any dentist clients. So we went ahead and gave him the #1 dentist out there in terms of the dentist that's respected by all the other dentists. And wouldn't you agree that that is a better way to start than the chicken and egg of trying to come up with your own clients and trying to convince someone that you're good, right? If you've chosen real estate as your lighthouse, just like Eric has and other folks, but you don't have a clear example of how you've done that repeatably, isn't that in some ways almost fraudulent or hypocritical? Because you want to be able to help the client, but when they ask you for your referrals, ask you for proof of process, ask you what kind of results they can get, and you can't confidently give them that, isn't that sort of a difficult situation to be in? Do any of you guys feel that as an agency where you want that client and they want you to do a particular thing, but you've never done that before, but you just are like, I'll just say yes to it and I'll try to figure it out along the way? Have any of you guys been in that situation? Yes, I see Wes says that. Yeah, competence creates confidence. Rarely, says Dalen. All right, man, I want to learn from you. And if you've done something many times before, then the proof's in the process with digital marketing, because you're going to be able to see it in terms of the leads, the Google Analytics, the conversions, all the different signals that we have in place. What we talked about in season 1 are these particular components. Starting to build your authority, starting to get your presence there so that you can drive inbound leads. We talked about how this is similar to being an emergency room doctor, because they come to you. You don't have to tell the patients all the things that you do and go knock on doors and line up every doctor you have and have them explain what every procedure is. We follow metrics, analysis, action because we are trained, we are certified as Certified Digital Marketing Agency, CDMA. That's another acronym. Normally it's a TLA, a 3-letter acronym, but it's an FLA. It's a 4-letter acronym. We talked last week about the certification, which you guys should be able to go through any day now. Alex can talk about that and pop that into the chat. And thus, if you have your certification and you've completed these exercises and you're ready to accept leads, then this is how we are going to be able to grow your agency. Now, the difference between start and grow is that growing is you already have a client, you are on a paid tier of Vendasta, meaning that you can use all the different tools, or start off with free if you're just getting going, right? There's a free tier as well. And now you want to get to $10,000 a month. And $10,000 a month is usually 10-ish clients. If you're in a vertical like dentists where people pay a little bit more, then maybe that's 4 clients at $2,500. And maybe it's real estate agents where on average they're paying $250 to $500. So maybe you have 15 or 20 clients. But we want to get to $10,000 a month of recurring revenue in that lighthouse, not $10,000 a month of one-off projects, not 10 random clients, each paying you a different amount of money that still is $10,000 a month, and not a client that's spending $10,000 in ads, but is paying you only $1,000. I'm talking about $10,000 of recurring, repeatable revenue against one particular lighthouse where you're doing the same thing and they're paying you that month-to-month revenue, and this is your fee, $10,000 in fees. And just by a show of hands in the comments, let me know how many folks are at that or they're on their way there. I want to know, just because we have some people that are over $1 million a month, which is great, right? There's some people that we coach, they're doing $100,000 a day, which is fantastic. Okay. We have some folks who are, okay, Renee's over 10. Okay, awesome. Some are 0, and 0 is a great place to start. In some ways, for those of you who are new, 0 is kind of easier than someone who's been in business a long time, because it's harder for someone who's been in business. It's like teaching someone to unlearn bad habits, right? Because whatever got you there to where you are now is usually not going to get you to 10 times where you are. And that's what it might seem backwards, but in order to really scale, you've got to be able to nail one particular niche. Like our buddy Welton Hong, he absolutely dominates when it comes to funeral homes. And that's what got him from 6 to 7 figures, but he was doing some random stuff before and it didn't work. My friend Josh Nelson, who teaches 7-figure agency, we teach the same thing. We say, choose that particular lighthouse. That's how we're going to be able to scale up. And it seems counterintuitive to say no, but how many of you guys can resonate with the idea that if you try to do too many things and try to say yes to all these things with FOMO, that you end up not being able to do well 1 or 2 things, and you don't develop a reputation as being really good at one thing? Do you guys resonate with that? Or there's some people saying, oh no, I need the money. I need to say yes to everything because every deal is a deal that I could close and everyone could be a potential customer. Yeah, Kosi knows that. It's a pain. We have all been through that pain. Yep, it's dog's breakfast. We talked about that. Yep, FOMO is fear of missing out. And then in season 3, we're going to cover scaling your agency. And the difference between growing and scaling is not just you want to take it to 7 figures, but you know that you can separate yourself from the process so that you have a machine that works by itself to drive leads, where you put out your process. This is when you have a book and public speaking, you have a team, you can do courses. For example, this week Snapchat reached out to us, and we have a course that we released a couple of years ago on Snapchat ads, and now they want us to redo it. And in fact, they're giving us money for people that are signing up for Snapchat. Isn't that kind of cool? Oh, by the way, you know the money that they're paying us for Snapchat ads? Here, let me just show you. And you guys get to see my email. Check this out. I'm willing to give you all of the money that we are getting on Snapchat, not Snapshot, Snapchat ads. Isn't that cool? Isn't it cool? Like when you get to the point where you're known and your inbound marketing is working for you, it's like cheating because people just want to work with you. And I'm not saying this to boast. I'm saying this because I want you to see what season 3 looks like. When you have developed something that is so strong that like Snapchat here wants to give you codes, and here's like spend $1, get $1, right? And here they're saying, look at this, as low as 25 up to, oops, see, I can't even get my tech working, and go up to the thousands, right? $100, $150 credits. Like if you guys want to work with me on stuff like this, I would be more than happy to collaborate with you and just give you back the amount, the commission or whatever that they would give us, right? Isn't that neat? Look, they're actually giving us, they're giving us training. We get to invite Snapchat to webinars, for example, right? And of course, I'm going to promote that webinar and put it on Social Media Examiner, put it in all these other places. Another way to look at it is, you guys remember the Jake Paul thing? So I was with Jake Paul a week ago. And if I go to my frame.io, just to show you. Now, right now I'm showing you what does it mean to be able to scale when you leverage authority into driving other kinds of authority. So we spent the whole day with Jake Paul. We had 8 of our people come in, going to LA, and we have, look at this, all these videos of me and Jake. Hey, by the way, let me know in the comments, did I show you my little clip of getting Jake Paul to drink from his toilet? Let me know. Did you guys see that? No? Hey, is that cool with you if I just show you one fun thing because it's Friday? I know it's not serious business, but I thought maybe we just have a laugh. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah? Okay, just, I want to show you something. I thought it was hilarious. And there is a lesson here, by the way. And just let me know, have you heard of Jake Paul? He's one of the biggest guys on YouTube. He's known for being controversial, right? Okay, and if you haven't heard, that's okay because his audience is a lot younger. So he's known for being super controversial, and he wanted to film a course. And in Jake Paul's style, I brought things like money, right? So I got $1 million of cash, prop money here, and we're talking about, we created an interactive income calculator saying if you want to make $1 million, that's, you know, 83,000 a month times 12, or it's selling a $1,000 product 1,000 times, or it's selling a $10 product 10,000 times, or sorry, 100,000 times, right? And so we recorded these little snippets to make interactive, so you can see things like this.
5 different categories of business. We don't need to say 5. Just say I've got a number of friends that have agreed to help in this program. Yeah. And I'm gonna introduce you to them, and they're gonna teach you how to do it.
I've got a number of friends who have agreed to help me with this program, and I'm gonna introduce you to them, and they're all different types of categories of business. So which one of these excites you the most?
So the options are going to pop up below to be interactive, right? Okay. Now I'm feeding him the lines.
And
Which one of these? Which one of the? Okay. I'm gonna do that again.
You're coming off of the bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do that.
These guys are super successful in their own categories of business. These guys are super successful in their own categories of business, and they're luckily coming onto this program to be able to help us and teach us some things. So which one of these categories of business excites you the most?
So imagine if you've done something that we can teach, I can put you in here in the Jake Paul's course so that his 30 million social media users are seeing that. Wouldn't that be cool? That's inception. Now check this out. I thought Jake Paul's controversial, so why don't we get him to teach the idea of interactivity through an actual example? So this is one filmed through one of the cameras. Check this out.
This is great. This is real great. I'm so excited. So basically, you guys as the audience are gonna have to choose between me, Dennis, and Armani on who has to drink the toilet water.
That's
so
his
make your
master
decision
bedroom.
below.
That's his mansion, by the way. Can you imagine that bathroom? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, this sucks. Interactivity. Okay.
Now it's time to scoop some water when you put it in.
Okay, so great. So you choose me. I hate you, but I'm gonna scoop the water out of the toilet. But this is just an example of like hooking in the audience because now you guys are engaged and you guys want to see what's going on. One big thing with video making or marketing in general is hooking the audience in right away with some sort of fun, different, unique thing. And obviously, I decided to do it with drinking toilet water. So here we go. This is gross. We have these purifying life straws that are supposedly able to filter water. Hopefully this works. I don't know whose idea it was to do this.
It was mine.
What's it taste?
Tastes like water.
That's right.
I feel like I'm gonna get sick. Ah! Ew, thank you for not picking me.
All right.
I guess. So then, of course, we have to film all three because depending on who they pick, right? Then they pick Armani, and then Armani has to do it. Right?
You guys picked Armani. Good job.
Then he has to do it, and then picks me. So then I have to do it. And it was my idea, by the way. Check this out. If it'll play. Ready?
Pick Dennis.
Me?
Good job.
Oh my goodness! I thought you for sure you'd pick Jay.
Now, so you have to drink the toilet water.
All right, here it is. You
But
ready?
guys, this is not only some form of entertainment where we're doing a challenge to drink toilet water, but you guys are now engaged as viewers. And so it's always good in intros of videos, in marketing, in business pitches to intrigue people right away, give people a reason to watch right away, because then more people are going to stay tuned and listen to whatever it is that you want to say.
That's right. So don't do this at home, even though this is my idea.
You don't drink toilet water. Oh,
There we
gosh.
go. One shot. So you know,
Yeah.
there's no turds in here, so I think we're
Yeah.
good.
The glass
Here
is
we
half
go.
full kind of guy, huh?
Thank you guys for picking him.
Seriously.
How is that? Oh, no.
But the key is interactivity. Now think about.
Okay, now that's an example of, actually, I'll show you. And let's see, I'll go to, this is an example of an interactive campaign. Have you guys seen my push-up campaign or this one here? Let me know in the chat. Right, check this out, right?
Experience. We're here at Lightspeed. Come with me, come on. A lot of time. The average watch time is only 6 seconds on Facebook. The thing about interactivity is that you get the audience to be able to choose. Hey, how you doing, Landon?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. So would you rather see Landon do 5 push-ups or would you rather see me do 5 push-ups?
Who do you want to see? You got to pick one.
Choose something below.
Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Who do you want? Choose me? All right. If you want this URL, I'll just put it here. You can play with this. This was done just on my
You
phone.
chose me? Wouldn't you rather see Landon do these push-ups? It's because I'm fat and you don't know stuff for more. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do it one-handed. 10. Well, there you go for some interactivity. So you're probably wondering what would happen if you chose the other option. Well, either way, Landon and I both had to do the 10 push-ups. And that's the key with interactive experiences is you have to be able to anticipate every option they can go down, whether you're splitting or whether you're bridging.
Yeah, so a good, something good to illustrate this is Netflix Black Mirror Bandersnatch. So have you seen Bandersnatch? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Let's see. I think we have more no's. Okay, no.
No? All right, well, come with me. Let's go break it down. All right, so Bandersnatch is an interactive Netflix series where you're taken through someone's life and you make the key decisions, and what you choose is the path that you go down. So you could go down like dozens of different paths in this Netflix series. So come with me. Dennis is going to tell you a little bit more about how it works.
And the first time I saw Bandersnatch, I was like, man, did I get all the different endings? And what if I chose have that guy jump off the building versus I jump off the building? And by us having people participate in the choices of the protagonist, we become personally invested in what happens. And it's more than just watching a Netflix film, because remember how we were playing this thing saying, okay, let's try it this way, let's try it that way.
Yeah.
Other people have seen this thing multiple times. And thus the idea of a video isn't just, it's 67 minutes long, like you watch, you know, The Terminator, whatever in the movie theater. It is any potential length because you have all these different choices and it becomes fun. There's some sort of exploration. It's almost like you're talking to someone live. And that's what you need to see in Bandersnatch, where you should just experience it yourself, and you don't have a Netflix
You should, by
account.
the way.
Go get one, sign up for the free trial. It's not an affiliate link, because I want
So if you click on that, then it moves to the next video.
Netflix. Bandersnatch was amazing because there wasn't a fancy set, a fancy studio.
All right, enough of that. But you see how these interactive pieces are coming together? And what we did was we filmed these different videos in here. So let's say, for example, Dr. Glenvo. So John and me and the other folks, we were with Dr. Vo and created this course, the Branding Blueprint course. And this is for the 26,000 doctors to come. Now this is relevant to you, so watch what we're doing here. Look at the inception here. Dr. Vo is well known among his 26,000 dentists, and we filmed a course on here's how you are able to grow your practice if you're a dentist. We've got guides, we have stories, we have these different ways where we're selling packages, right? So we're selling the course, but the course is really a way of giving people the training, but then they're not going to do the implementation, right? So it'll look like this.
When patients come into my office, I take an x-ray to see what the root problem is so I can take care of them. Would you like to have an x-ray of your personal brand so that we can see what is wrong and what is right with your personal brand?
We have a 6-part audit of your business and personal brand. We look at your reputation management. We look at how you rank on Google, your website, how well you rank on SEO, your social factors, how well you are running ads. We're going to look across these 6 factors in the same way you might take an x-ray on someone's teeth. We're going to take an x-ray on your business and your personal brand. Dr. Vo and I have a special package for you where we're going to have a certified specialist do analysis and present this report to you.
You see what we're doing here? Let me know in the comments. What are we doing here? And what's this 6-part audit? You know what that is? It's called a Vendasta snapshot report. All right. So we're doing this with everybody, right? So we have the Glenvos of all these other places. This is how we're driving leads for you guys, right? All these dentists are like, yeah, I want the audit. But it has to be someone who's certified, right? Guess where the certified partners are coming from? Right here in this group. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right, Stephen. And guess what? We got it for all these other folks too, right? So it could be a chiropractor. So all the chiropractors that are doing theirs, right? And we have other kinds of training, which you're going to see soon, that is going to be in here, right? We've got tons and tons of stuff. Even if, here, I'll show you how deep the, yes, we have a script, Cruz. I'll show you how deep the inception goes. So when we get folks like Brad Lee, who's basically best friends with Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and all these guys, I'm giving you a taste of season 2 and 3.
What's going on, ladies
We're
and
going
gentlemen?
to grab
Brad
snippets
Lee
out of here.
And then this goes on and on and
So
on.
now
and
I'm
on
teaching.
and on through these different exercises where Jake,
That's the Jake Paul
Jake is-
script.
like, I think you get like 8,000
And then
gallons or what.
Brad is saying awesome things about us.
You make the deal with them direct, they realize that it's not Lightspeed, it's a preferred partner. So you go in and land a $200,000 deal, good. I want a bunch of those preferred partners, but they have to be capable
Yeah.
And they have to be, you know, efficient, and they have to be ethical, and they have to be like certified partners.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what it sounds like he's doing on it without even knowing you're doing it.
Well, I believe in the product. You know, without the product,
Yeah.
without you, Brad, none of this is possible.
Well, that's true. But you know, good job on that. Why are we sharing it here though? What's the lesson?
Here, go back a step.
That they need to know what to do
I'm in Mark's RV.
behind it.
And like we literally have, like I mentioned, we have courses on courses. So we're using Lightspeed to train other people on Lightspeed, which I think is hilarious that we're doing that. But yeah, we definitely would. You just have to give us a few more weeks.
I haven't found anyone that can get this.
Ah, why is the internet sucking? Well, it's Bradley. Yeah.
The system's down like you.
We've been trained like this. Our little ace up the sleeve is we've got millions of these kids that are unemployed. They're not going to go back to school in the fall. I'm not hating on school or anything like that, but they're not going back, right? And they need to learn something that's meaningful and creative, and they need to make a little bit of money. And we're teaching them how to use Lightspeed as part of the badge of what they're going to learn. So who would be better, Brad, of all the people that could convince the people that would be technically adept with social media and video and that kind of thing to create courses and actually implement the courses that the other people want to build? Don't you think Jake Paul would be like the ideal person for something like that?
Oh yeah.
To say, hey, everybody, come learn the skill.
If you ask me, you rescued the FFM deal.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said.
Well, trust me, I know. I saw their first attempt, and using Lightspeed relevant. You know, again, I saw their first attempt, Lightspeed or not. You know, it wasn't what you just did. And again, what you did is you're leveraging Lightspeed. You're using the intelligence that's behind it. Like you're driving a customer to a video, you want to engage them, you want to collect data, you want to make different offers based on different choices and different pathways, and you've taken the time to think it out, and then you took the action to go to his house, film it, which again, you had to pay all those people. Maybe they were volunteers, whatever, but
I had to pay.
You went and filmed it. You were obviously the director. You get that you had to have 3 different responses. It all drops into Lightspeed. Lightspeed sews it together.
See, now when we have Brad Lee saying all this stuff and we have all these other components here, let's see, I'll show you this. I'll show you something that, by the way, the stuff I'm showing you, no one's ever seen before. This is all brand new. Like this video is not even out. Oh, look, I'm talking Scoble, right? We're running ads for Robert Scoble. He's a good buddy of mine. But if we look at Brad Lee, this is what we're going to start to do in this next season. So we got Brad Lee as a page, and we got him as a friend, right? As a person. He's got his blue check mark on the page. And guess who has admin on all the assets here? To be able to take the assets on what he said in the training and promote as Brad Lee, right? He does talk like Cardone. He and Cardone are good friends. So all that to say is, based on what we've done with, you know, Grant Cardone or Brad Lee or Jake Paul, we're then leveraging this into a new thing where you're going to see on August 14th, we're doing a pay-per-view with Pitbull, and Pitbull is going to help a lot of entrepreneurs get going, right? Not just Hispanic folks. So if you want to help us on this, we've got this program we're doing with Pitbull. He's got a live pay-per-view, but he's also launching a course so that anyone who buys the pay-per-view, we're donating to, you know, scholarships and whatnot to teach people how to start their own businesses. So if any of you guys are interested in helping teach, we're putting that kind of stuff in here as well, right? Have you guys heard of Pitbull? He's pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to what we were going to cover. So season 3, in scaling your business, that's when you're building courses, you have partnerships, you're leveraging teams of teams to be able to grow your business. So for us, we're not having to do the direct agency work. We're training up other people. We're bringing in other partners. We're trying to connect the supply and demand so that we can own a particular vertical. So I'd love to see people like John Cordray or Dr. Jordan Bowen with chiropractors be able to teach other folks to service the chiropractor so that he doesn't have to do all the chiropractic all by himself. I would love to see Jordan and other folks, there could be many people serving chiropractors. It's a huge, huge group. have hundreds of folks that are making a great living serving chiropractors. You see what I'm saying? But requires the kind of scale where we put out training for other people to be able to follow. All right, now we're going to shift gears here. There's 3 stages. There's before, during, and after with the client. Let's just say, right? You see this middle layer here for client? So most people that are new agencies, that are in their start phase, they put all the effort into this first box because they're trying to get new clients. And I'm not saying that's not important, but once you get the client, then you have to set up the client. You have to collect their information, you have to get access, you have to configure the products, you have to put a team against it, you have to buy the products from Vendasta. There's other things you have to do, right? Get their credit card. And then on an ongoing basis, you have to scale it. You have to charge them every month, you have to have phone calls with them, right? And if you don't retain the client, then usually that results in having to get new clients. So most agencies that say that they're trying to get more clients, really their issue is a client retention issue. Does that make sense? And so they spend all their effort here in the middle, but they're so busy working in their business that they're not working on their business, which is the agency level here. The agency level here, these first 3 boxes here in green are the setup for the sales process for you. How do you choose, how do you get going by, choosing a lighthouse and having a public figure, which is probably going to start with you, and building the content library. This is what we did in season 1, is coming through these first 3 boxes, because there's the business of running an agency that has nothing directly to do with how do you build campaigns and do reputation management and handle reviews and all the things that are actually in the execution layer here in this middle layer. Season 2, we're going to cover more of this execution layer, because once you have this first layer, getting the framework of your agency on before, during, and after, which is sell, set up, and scale, then you have a framework that when you get a client, you're going to be able to service the client and keep that client. Does that make sense? Most people start by trying to bring in a bunch of clients and their stuff falls apart because they didn't have the framework. It's like decorating a house before you've even poured the foundation for it, right? It's silly. Now, once you've got this foundation and you're able to keep going where you're generating influence, you're collecting great feedback, you have a great reputation, you build word of mouth, you have project management, you're starting to hire VAs, then you can start to get your clients to do the work for their client, who's called the customer, down here in the bottom level. So what we're really doing is we are equipping our agency, which is our machine, to then be able to service these clients, to get the content from their customers to feed back into the algorithm. And so there's a before, during, and after for the customer as well. You see how that is? If you can separate out the process of how you operate as an agency, all the internal processes, how you hire and train, how you price your stuff, how you put together packages, how you position, how you create marketing materials. The cobbler's son has no shoes, which usually means that if you're a SEO person, but you don't even have, your own website doesn't even work, then why would, clients want to hire you? You know what I'm talking about, right? So we've got to separate out what you're doing, working on your business, so that you can work in your business. That's why I like Vendasta so much, because most of the things you need to do are being handled here in this layer by Vendasta, so you can focus more on building your business, right? And that's not trying to say there's a sales pitch for Vendasta, but saying you need to think about how do you organize these components of your business. All right, now there's one other item I want to show you, which is the outline. Actually, there's 2 more items I want to show you. There is, let's see.
Dennis, I'm not sure if I can hear you. Can anyone hear Dennis? No, Dennis, it looks like your video and audio may have cut out.
Okay, I think something got plugged in. I wasn't looking.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now. I can't see your video. I can see your screen still though.
All right, hang on.
Okay.
Wonders of a technology person who can't use technology. All right. Can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen. I just can't see your face, but I can hear you.
I have a face made for radio. Well, we're gonna wait. Oh, there's the video. All right, there you can see me.
Hey, there we go. We're back.
I'm wearing
So
I'm wearing my shorts underneath.
So I think it cut out right when you're about to talk about this this sheet here. So maybe start from the top there.
I think our video guy was plugging stuff in while we were doing this because I'm on the laptop. I'm not using the camera. Okay, so we have 6 topics. And each of these topics is broken into 3 modules. Let me explain how they fit. The first one on how to triple your perceived value. If you don't have a high enough authority, then it's going to be tough for you to be able to charge premium pricing. And you do want to charge premium pricing if you can deliver, because the clients that pay you the most actually expect the least. And likewise, the clients that pay you the least expect the most. Amen? You guys know that's true? Those of you guys who have an agency, you know it's true, right? And if you don't know it's true, then you're going to make that mistake of trying to go for anybody who's got $1 or needs a discount, or like John Cordray posted yesterday, wanted free consulting. Be very careful about that. Lead with perceived value, because you're a doctor in marketing. You have your certification, hopefully, right? Would you go to a surgeon that says, hey, you know, it's competitive out there, I'll do your surgery for half off, right? Don't do that. You don't trust that, and they're not going to trust you. So you are trained. Imagine you're wearing your white lab coat. You've got your certification. What are the different ways that you can triple your value, which is another way of tripling your revenue? One of my friends, Jeff Hunter, prided himself on being the cheapest game in town because he had a bunch of VAs. In fact, he named his company VA Staffer. And it was partly my fault because I said that he was the king of outsourcing. And it sounded so good that he started using it because I gave him that title. And everyone thought of him as like the place to go to for the cheapest VAs, right? Because VAs, you want to hire VAs because it's cheaper, right? No, that is not why you hire VAs. You hire VAs because they're loyal and they stay with you, not because they're cheaper. They are cheaper, but that's not the main reason, right? So how do you charge based on value? How do you price things? How do you build social proof? If you build enough social proof, then you could go after the $1 million client. And I'm going to show you real examples of how we closed Quiznos and Nike and Red Bull, Ashley Furniture, and these are clients that have all spent millions of dollars with us. I'm going to show you the process that we use to collect the leads with no cold calling, no cold outreach. Now, these are all ones that came to us because of articles and relationships and word of mouth and results and that kind of thing, right? And then how do you close that lead? Meaning the proposal, working through legal things, what happens when you work with larger teams, as well as how you organize for success, which is project management on a larger scale, right? And I'm not saying you have to move towards $1 million client right off the bat, because it's like hunting elephants versus chickens. It is a lot of effort. If any of you guys have had Microsoft as a client, then you know the first time you work with Microsoft, you're thinking, wow, this is awesome. I got Microsoft as a client. I can tell everybody I got Microsoft, right? And I got Microsoft for 50,000 bucks. I'm rich. And after a couple of weeks in, after meeting after meeting after meeting, and they invite 12 people to every meeting, you're like, oh, I'm losing money on this. Like, even if I charged 100 grand, I didn't charge enough money because I didn't realize that they would need all these meetings and all this documentation. Plus, they don't pay for 90 days. Plus, you know, all these different things, which, you know, you got to bring lawyers in there. You have to have $10 million of umbrella liability insurance. You have to right? Like the one we had with Viacom, which is MTV and CMT and Nickelodeon and all that. When we first got them as a client, I was celebrating, thinking like, wow, we're making all this money. And then it's like, these guys are just eating me alive because the number of meetings and things they ask for, and it's a lot. So it'll give you an idea of what enterprise looks like, and you can start to learn from how those pieces are put together. Then the next module is the perfect client meeting. Just like Russell Brunson's got his perfect webinar, the perfect client meeting, you break into what happens before, during, and after the meeting. And if you follow these particular steps, like taking meeting minutes, the day before the meeting, sending out the agenda and reminding them that this is the URL, following up right away when you're done with it, adding these items to Basecamp or Task Manager inside Vendasta so you know who's doing what, assigning out tasks based on the RACI model. So we have clear responsibility, accountability, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. You have a project manager, a project owner, all these things. Even if you have those pieces in place, you're still going to have project failure. And that's our fourth topic. What happens when things go wrong? Let's admit it, things go wrong, right? Does anyone want to claim that their agency never fails or they never have a problem where either it's on the client side or it's on their side? So we're covering the 6 ways that clients fail or projects fail. 3 of them are on the client and 3 of them are on us, meaning we didn't set expectations properly, we didn't communicate, or we didn't execute, meaning we didn't have that team member didn't have the proper training, they were overloaded, or they weren't clear on what they were supposed to do. Same thing on the client side. The client didn't have they were a wantrepreneur, like they weren't a fit for what we really do, or we weren't really clear in the lighthouse. They didn't give us the assets or access that we needed, or they didn't do something else that we needed them to do, right? So you can always boil down failure to real or perceived issues. So we'll cover what those 6 items are across 3 modules. Provided you have that in place and you're starting to scale, what I see happen with great agencies that do a great job, very skillful, work very hard, and usually they still die, is because they don't know how to scale a team. Amen? And you guys ever been in that situation, right? You've got 2 or 3 clients, you're happy, they're happy with you, and then you get to a point where you're overwhelmed. Too many projects, too many meetings, then you try to hire people, but then it's like, well, the people I hired, they're not properly trained, but then I got to train them, but meanwhile, I can't work on the project, so then I have to do their work for them while I'm chasing them and while I'm paying them. Now I'm losing money because I might be losing clients. I'm doing the work for them. They're complaining they're not being paid enough. Then I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it myself. I need to hire better people. So get out of that process by learning how to hire team members as a pro. And we're gonna cover how to hire in different ways. So there's one-off hiring like Fancy Hands or Fiverr or Upwork. There is hiring with VAs, which is an external-ish role. And there's hiring full-on internal, which is like a US or Canadian-based specialist. We're going to talk about how to hire between those different roles, and then how to be a team lead is the last module in that topic. And we're going to cover our level 4 team lead course. And most people struggle from being an individual contributor to then becoming a manager. It's a completely different skill set. And you guys ever been there? It's like learning how to drive stick, driving stick on someone else's car. Make sure it's a rental car and it's not your car, right? You never want to have a first-time manager. They're the worst, right? Because they don't know how to manage, because they micromanage, right? Or they don't understand the difference between letting people go through, learn, do, and teach. But it is a difficult spot. But if you can learn how to be a manager and learn how to hire people effectively, how to hire, train, and manage people, that is how you're going to be able to scale your agency. The last module, but arguably the most important, which sets us up for season 3, is how do you get more leads using your lighthouse client? When your lighthouse shines brighter, what does that mean? It's going to result in things like the Golden State Warriors, where we have tons and tons of case studies. It could be on Adweek, or here on Sports Geek, or it could be on Stu Kent, or it could be on Facebook's blog, right? You have all these different things. Like, here it is. What's it like running ads for the Golden State Warriors? Here's another one, right? Or we have people from the Golden State Warriors talking about this. And this draws in other people that are in your particular lighthouse. So Shelly Jean maybe is working with Jack Beigel on Visiting Angels, where they have a service that delivers where they do the retirement, or not the retirement, what is it? They have the caretakers come to you, right? And by showing behind the scenes, they can do the franchise for all the other Visiting Angels, or the other retirement homes, or the other memory care facilities, right? Where you're partnering with other people. Like here, what's it like running ads for the Golden State Warriors? Well, here it is, step by step, right? And we're actually publishing our content on how to do that. But you've got to learn how to organize your content in the right way. So when you document your process as you're executing, this is an extension of the training and operations process that you have. And in fact, the course that you teach is actually the execution that you have. They're one and the same. That's why a course is a package, and that's why a package is a course. And that's why we believe that if you want to scale in a particular vertical, you have to have an SOP, standard operating procedure, which is also a course that you put out there, which is why Glenn Vo and John Cordray are working so well together. Then when you have things like industry inception, you're taking that content, turning it into a podcast, into a book, into other kinds of different, you know, it could be YouTube videos. I mean, it could be, you know, whatever it is. If you're doing that properly, then you're going to have something like this. Now, this is what we call our operations process guide. And this thing is no joke. It's 277 pages on how we do everything that we do step by step. Now, imagine that you are a chiropractor and you want to get digital marketing in place, but you know, you're a chiropractor and you don't understand marketing and Google and all this stuff, right? And Jordan Bowen says, I serve, you know, his XYZ. I help chiropractors drive leads through the 6-phase social amplification engine, right? And he says, this is how we do it. Here's the 6 phases. Imagine his face is up here. And here it goes through step by step. Here's how we do every little step. Here's how we measure everything. Here's who our team members are. Here's how we, you know, click by click, how we produce video, how we organize, how we onboard our people, how we, like, literally just on and on and on, right? Here's how we get access here, right? This is how we set up funnels. Now imagine that chiropractor who doesn't know anything about digital marketing, but knows they need to check that box, sees that Jordan Bowen has this. And this is how Jordan Bowen hires more VAs. This is how Jordan Bowen uses the Vendasta system. This is how Jordan Bowen does all these different things, right? This is how we boost posts on LinkedIn or whatever it might be, right? This is how we do stuff on Twitter. This is how we do all the things that we do, right? Is that chiropractor going to want to try to do it themselves? Yes or no? No, heck no, says Steven. And by the way, if they say they want to do it themselves, give them your checklist. Just give it to them. Why? Because they're going to be a freetard, which I know is an offensive. They're going to be a wantrepreneur. Those are people that don't value your time. Give them your training. Let them buy your book on Amazon for $14.95 or whatever it is, right? Because the people that really value their time, they're going to value your time. So at the end of season 2, you know, in the same way there's homework for season 1 and there's a certification, the end of season 2, you're going to create your operations process guide. You're going to publish it. It is not only your way of delivering what we call repeatable excellence, but it's also your marketing vehicle. Because when you put this stuff out here, people will say, uncle, like, okay, you got the process. I'm just going to trust you to do it. Where can I buy? Like, I'm already sold. Like, let me just give you money, right? See what I'm saying? This is how we track everything. This is, you know, this is what we do inside the Vendasta platform, right? So that's what we're covering in season 2. I want to know, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for season 2? Do you have particular questions? I know John's nodding his head. He has no idea what he signed up for. The next year is a wild ride. We're going to be in Indianapolis with a bunch of chiropractors speaking, teaching a bunch of folks. What do you guys think? I want to hear some, like, maybe if you want to say something publicly, mention it there. Andrew will choose you and say, I have a comment, you know, I want to speak. And Andrew will choose you, and we'll take some time to answer some questions. I know at the top of the hour, I'm excited. This is 18 episodes. We're also going to bring in some special guests as well. But those are going to be special guests.
Yeah. I see a lot of comments. Anybody have a question? Dalen, this is great. Will we create our own operations guide from scratch or use a template?
You could create one from scratch if you want. More power to you. But I'm lazy and I like to borrow off of things that already work. And if you've got one already, because he says he's already, you know, doing well, like, feel free to share inside our group. Share it here, share it in the Facebook group, share it to the community. We're all about sharing, right? None of us are competing against each other. Yeah, why reinvent the wheel, says Paul.
Rachel asked, will this work for contractors, home services like HVAC plumbers? I saw some comments asking, are there specific verticals?
This will work for every vertical where it's not homogeneous and there is some kind of reputation factor. Ideally, it works for local service businesses, but it could work for e-com. It could work for B2B, just not quite as well.
And when does season 2 start? Next week?
Next week.
Next week.
Episode 1. Be there.
So what would you recommend for the folks who maybe just starting today or have been kind of doing a little bit of season 1? Should they get through season 1 before season 2?
I know a lot of you guys want to jump straight to season 2, but take your favorite Netflix or Hulu or HBO. Let's say it's, I really like Westworld, right? But if you jumped into season 2, episode 5, without knowing anything about Westworld at all, and you didn't start with season 1, episode 1, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's like buying a book and reading the very last page before reading anything. Like, don't do that. It's not because you're ruining the punchline, but you're just going to end up confusing yourself. And let me give you advice that I tell a lot of agency owners, usually after they've messed up. Okay? I'm going to give you the advice I give agency owners after they've messed up, which is they come to these meetings, they maybe come to the conferences when we used to be able to travel, or they're reading blogs, but they haven't taken action. And I hear all kinds of excuses about why they have not made their 1-minute video, how they haven't created their topic wheel, how they haven't done snapshot reports and gotten in their first leads, how they haven't done whatever it is. When people binge on the content, you know what happens? They don't take action. You know what you want to do is start from season 1, episode 1. Listen for the specific things you need to do. Alex has got a cheat sheet, which I think he's releasing any day now. And take action while it's fresh in your head. Then move on to episode 2. Listen for the action. Take action. Wait till the next day and continue to learn and do and teach. Teach is you just share what it is that you've just learned. So you're constantly doing learn, do, teach. You're not just learn, and eventually do. Don't make that mistake here. You want to participate.
I can see April Bryan, you said that you have a question and comment. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to unmute, if you're still there.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you there.
Okay, cool. I think a couple people have asked, and so was curious. So this operations guide, will there be some type of a template or something that we can take and skin ourselves, or a framework for it?
That'll be midway through season 2.
Okay.
We're still tuning it. And
okay, awesome.
There's what we've done internally, and it's not because we're trying to hide it from you. It's that there's a lot of internal and client-specific things that are not necessary for you. It's not like it's a secret, or, I mean, there are some things that are confidential, but I think we've already stripped those out. Is that we're trying to give you just the most important items, April. Just the things you need, because there's already a lot in there, and there's so many things you can do in the world of digital marketing that it's easy to get confused and not know what the most important items are. So you will get this, but we're going to streamline it so that you have a template that you can fill out, and a teacher's guide as well that has the instructions.
That's awesome. So in preparation for that, everybody can probably kind of maybe go ahead and set themselves up a book or something like that, so they can go ahead and go, okay, these are specific to my company, knowing that maybe some of the more general things will come from your template. So people could go ahead and start prepping for that, so when it comes, they're able to assemble it quicker. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, if you've gone through all the exercises in season 1, you already have the items necessary to put inside the operations process guide. And so think of it this way. These are fundamental items these are frameworks. It's like gravity, right? It affects everybody, large or small or black or white or whatever. But the particulars of your goals, content, and targeting, of your why, of where you're from, of the vertical that you chose, of like, those are going to be specific to you, but the framework is still the same. Why? Because remember those 9 boxes that I showed you, where there's you as the agency, there's the client, and there's their customer, and then there's before, during, and after. The operations process guide governs how those 9 boxes fit together. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You need to be able to move everything along and down. If you don't do that, then you're going to be stuck where most agencies are, which is in box number 4, the first box in the center row, right? In that middle row, where they're constantly just focusing on, I need new leads, but then they forget about the setup and they forget about the retention and the ongoing monthly servicing of that client. And usually they skip the top 3, which are the agency level processes, because they're so busy trying to chase every particular lead. They never thought about having a lighthouse. They never thought about documenting their processes. They never thought about getting deeper in a niche and hiring people, and right. They're so busy. They're running so fast. They're not even thinking about the business, right? Because they're so like in the weeds on the detail.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Dennis, and everyone at Vendasta. I know probably tons of people are sitting here saying, thank you so much. Now we're getting ready to blow up the second half of the year. Some of us had that on the goal in the first quarter, and some things have shifted, and now it's just giving, I think, a bunch of people renewed enthusiasm and just ready to take it on. So thank you again, Dennis, and everyone at Vendasta. It really means a lot to us. Thanks.
Thanks, April. I can see Ty. I can see that you wanted to make a comment before we close out here. Yep.
I have trouble with that mute thing. Sorry about that, Andrew. Hey, so I was April beat me to it, but I wanted to be the first Kiss Up student, this week, just to say thank you so much, Andrew, Dennis, all the rest of you guys. It's exactly what I know I needed, and I hear from others what they needed. And I was talking to my son earlier about this. He's 18 and he works in my business too, as well as other things. And he made me swear, like, don't tell anybody about Vendasta, because I come from a nonprofit background and I love helping people, and I found out about White Label and helped a ton of people in the past, but they're like the whole family, like, don't say anything. But I wanted to say this is have an abundance mentality like Dennis, you guys have, because there's more than enough. And why do we get paid? You get paid because you bring value to the marketplace. There's more than enough need. And so I've told 2 so far, and I didn't even sign up for affiliate program. It's just, I want to bless them and I'm helping them too. So, thank you. You guys are top shelf. The other thing, I watched the one video of the exec team having their conversation, that first one, and I loved all the little blip outs for language. Please tell them to keep that up. That made me so happy. I don't mean to offend anybody, because you guys were being real, and they were being real. So I love that they had to blip the language because they weren't hiding anything. That's
awesome, Ty. The team over here, our executive team, we're people too, right? We like to have fun. We like to do that stuff. We like to have those, those real conversations. And I'm happy to hear that, that you watch that Conquer Local Roundtable. Maybe you can pop that link into the group in the academy so that everybody else can find it. But
I'll look it up. It's a YouTube link. Is that okay, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pop it in just a second.
That's awesome. Hey, and thank you for the kind words, Ty. Let's give it up for Dennis. Give it up for Dennis and the team at Blitz Metrics and the team at Vendasta. There's a lot of people who are putting in a lot of time and effort to make this successful. So really appreciate all the kind words. We're going to make sure that gets back to everybody. Dennis, take it out.
Got one last thing for you guys that are still here before you all take off for the weekend. And this is what I want you to be thinking about. Just like what Ty said about the abundance mentality, I am thinking 24/7 about you guys and anything that we can do to create jobs and create opportunities. And for those of you who actually know me, that's true. And I'm not doing this for the money. I don't care about stuff like that. I mean, once you make your first couple million, it doesn't really change your, living or anything. You only, eat at so many restaurants or go to so many nice places. At some point you need something beyond that. And everything that I'm doing, and it's not on me. I just happen to be lucky that these deals go through me, but we have so many prospects that come to us, so many folks that want to do things with us. I want to work with you guys. Like, let me know, like, put it in the Facebook group. Like, what is your lighthouse? If you can't seem to find work, or you want to partner with us on the Snapchat thing, or we're doing a thing on LinkedIn ads with Mary Henderson or Jason Miller, who ran the content marketing for Marketo and then moved to LinkedIn and Microsoft, or Tommy Mello, who's the home services guy, or the fitness. Like we have 3 or 4 major figureheads that are like Glenn Vose in the fitness category, and we don't have anyone to work on those projects. We have 2 or 3 nonprofits that need a little bit of love. We have 2 or 3 schools that are networks of schools. Pitbull owns 190 charter schools. Did you know that? He's got 200,000 students. Academica. We need people who can help us on that too. We need people who can work on the pay-per-view that we have coming up. That's due now. We need so many people that we want to be able to partner with. So if any of you guys are short on work, or you want to expand, or you want to be like John Cordray or David Brown or the other folks here, where you just need, because sometimes the chicken and the egg is you just need some experience, right? You just kind of need to, like, I know Shelly Jean, she's working super hard, but wouldn't it be so much easier if Shelly Jean already had 5 awesome senior homes, right? Because then that momentum builds. And when this whole thing with the social amplification engine is you're multiplying. But if you're multiplying by a 0, if you take 1 million, like we multiply stuff by 10 or by 100, but if we take a 0 and we multiply by 100, it's still 0. And that's the chicken and the egg of experience. That's why the lighthouse is so important. I want you guys to think about, what is it that you really need? If you could wave your magic wand and get what you wanted, what is it? And I can pretty much guarantee you that it is here in this community. And you probably don't even have to pay anything, so there's no string on it either. But you do have to ask, as your mentors will tell you, and you must ask specifically. You cannot ask generally. People cannot help you when you ask generally. That's why the lighthouse is so key. If you say, oh yeah, I do digital marketing for just any kind of small business, no one's gonna, I mean, that's just not gonna work, right? But if you say, I do it for real estate agents, fantastic. I've got 3 lighthouses in real estate. I've got the #1 mortgage broker in the United States as a lighthouse, and he wants to work with us. He's got 17,000 mortgage brokers that follow him. It's Barry Habib, right? So make sure if you need anything, if you want anything, you need to ask for it, and ask boldly, ask in the group, right? Join the accountability groups. You can even ask me, right? But don't use me for tech support. Like some people ask me questions like, what do you think about this boost? I mean, I'll help you on that, but let's try to leverage our community here and know that all of us are here helping each other, not in a kumbaya kind of way and vaguely, but we really are, because we're all following the same framework. And if we do, then we immediately have alignment. And that's really what, when you listen to Brendan, King, and George and the other folks talk, you get a glimpse into the DNA, into the way that they think. The idea of a white label local platform is genius because of not because of the technology and tools that are there, which are impressive. Go check it out if you haven't. But the mindset that's required to make that happen is mind-blowing, because it requires starting with an abundance mentality, like Ty mentioned, and how to create value for everyone in the ecosystem, from the partners to the underlying local businesses to the technology players. And when you can see how to intersect those particular components, like what we're doing here in Conquer Local, then you start to open up, your eyes will open up to things you haven't seen before. And I'm not one of those who just says, if you manifest it and believe it, then all the magic will happen to you. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, but I am saying the positive attitude and having the right strategy and understanding where we're going is going to solve any problem that you have. We have another client, for example, that has a $200,000 a month ad budget, and he's launching a best-selling book that he needs help on. We don't have anyone to work on that, right? If that's in your lighthouse, I'd love to work with you on that. So think about that. Make sure to ask.
And I love the feeling of giving thanks and being grateful. And none of this would be achievable without you guys. So thank you. Thank you for spending your time with us every Friday. Thank you for going through the recordings. Thank you for putting in the work and the effort to complete all of the checklists and all of the tasks and becoming certified. Thank you for putting in that time out of your busy days, already being an agency owner and upskilling and working on your business. really appreciate the thanks, and we'll make sure that it gets back to the Blitzmetrics team and the Vendasta team. Really appreciate it. And, you know, I think it's important to say thank you to you as well, because none of this would be achievable without you. So thank you.